Check. Okay. Setting up a cart. What we're going to do right now is we're going to set up the Dragon Warrior 3 cart in order to be used in my TAS route. So right off bat, we're going to erase every quest. Make sure it says begin new quest. Very important, you have to reset after deleting your files. If you don't, your checksum might not be what you need it to be. So once we do that, we're going to begin a new quest. In slot number 3, we're going to use the name M-O-P in lowercase letters, MOP, female, message speed 7. Once that's set, we're going to reset. And all these steps had to be followed in exact order. If you skip any one little part, everything's going to be wrong. This is very, very, very specific. So we're going to begin a new quest. This name doesn't matter. Once we do that, we're going to hit reset again. So after creating our 2 files, change message speed on the 3rd one, just like if we were doing a grind, and we will continue with our first file. Now we're going to go through the whole beginning of the game part because you have to. One thing with seed lock you will notice that all NPCs will either walk straight or in circles. And that is one way to identify if you have the seed lock, is everybody will walk either in a straight line or in circles. If you watch this, the guy in the green, once we buy our wings, we're going to buy 2 wings. Now if you watch the NPCs, you'll notice they walk in circles. Up, right, down, left, up, right, down, left. So that way we know for sure we're in the seed lock. So once we make it to Reeve, we're just going to wing right back to Leahan. We just need to get the return point. And we're going to go save real quick. Select that C list. Write the Imperial Scrolls of Honor. And we're going to hit reset. Now just to make sure, we're going to once again select the message speed on the last one and then continue the first file. Now this is very important. When the menu is up, the global frame counter is not running. As soon as you are walking or doing anything else and sprites are moving, the global counter is ticking. So after you talk to the king, it is absolutely essential you mash the A button so the global frame counter does not advance. So once you do that, we're going to go to the wing. We're going to return to Reeve. And as soon as you hit the A button to return to Reeve, immediately start holding right. If you delay even a little bit, your RNG is going to be off. You should get the battle right before you touch the forest tile, and it will always be this battle right here. 2 black ravens, 1 horned rabbit, 2 slimes, 1 giant anteater. We're going to attack. That's going to set our discard. We'll now hit reset. And we're going to repeat the same thing again. This step has to be done twice. We're going to select the message speed in the third file, and then continue the first file. We're going to wing back to Reeve. Make sure we're holding right. We cannot lose frames. You'll get the exact same encounter. We're going to hit attack. Okay, now that we have done that twice and reset, that's gonna guaranteed put our discard counter at 0F. We need, 0B. We need it to be 04. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go down to change message speed of the third file again. We're gonna select 2, I believe. Let me double check that. Yep, we're going to select message speed 2. Now we're going to continue the quest. Now for this third time, we're going to return to Aleahan. And once again, immediately holding down as to not waste any time. Two black ravens. If you follow that exact route I did, it'll always be 2 steps before the castle. Once you have 2 black ravens, you'll fight. Our discard counter is now at 04. So now that that's done, we can set up for the run. We're going to erase every file and get it to where it's just begin new quest. Once you do that, we're going to have to reset again. The first file we need to create is Adventure Log 2, which is going to be the E and the question mark, capital E, female, message speed 5. We're going to hit reset now. We're going to create Adventure Log 3 now, which will be the slime battle, which is going to be V, B, both in small, male, 5. So once we do that, we're going to hit reset. Now once that is done, our game is set up right now, but it's set up to produce the discard counter, or I'm sorry, the seed for the metal babble or the metal slime grind. That's not a big deal because we still have to create party members and add party members. So your seed right now does not matter at all. So don't worry about setting anything. We're going to begin a new quest, which will be our actual speedrun file. And this obviously can be whatever you want. Taco, K-Mac, whatever. So while we're waiting, one of the little things is step count, where if you're getting encounters at different tiles than I am, that's because extra numbers are getting consumed somewhere. Every time an NPC moves, it's going to consume random numbers. Every time 64 frames ticks off in the overworld, it'll consume 2 random numbers. So any type of hesitation, bonking, extra steps, not stepping on tiles that don't consume numbers, these will all change where the battle is going to happen. So when you watch the run that I do, you'll notice that I waste steps. That's because I have little buffers in this game, or in the route, to where if I'm ever behind, I'm still able to keep close to the step count. And if you're really ahead of your step count, that's where you'll see me waste steps, where you'll hear me, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to take 2 extra steps to waste steps, or I've got to get an encounter before a serum, and if I don't, I will walk around a serum until I get the encounter, to ensure that, oh wow, to ensure that everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. I accidentally bought a frickin' herb. Wow. Anyway, sell all your stuff, buy your 8 wings, as per usual. The order that you create the characters in, and the characters you create the name, all that is irrelevant right now. I like to create them in the order that they'll be in the party, so that's just personal preference. You can make your wizard first, then both your fighters. It really doesn't matter. So now that we've done that, wow. We'll pretend that was the merchant. That was supposed to be the merchant, not a soldier. But whatever, we're not doing a whole run right now, so it doesn't matter. Alright, right now, every time we add a character, it's changing our RNG. That's why at the very beginning it didn't matter when we first created the file what our RNG was. So now that we add the 3rd person, we're going to hit reset. We're going to go ahead and go to file number 2, set the message speed, and we're going to continue. And if we did it right, we should be ready to go. Immediately wing out. Remember, don't waste steps. We've got to wait 180 something frames. So I count a total of 12 animations once the menu pops up. So that's what I was waiting for. And as you see, I walked across the town, which cut my RNG consumption by 1. If you immediately walk down from Reeve, you're going to consume an extra number. When you walk across the town, you're stepping on that town tile, which will not consume an additional number. So it's very important that if you notice, a lot of times when I walk, I'm taking advantage of those extra tiles and always walking across the town or the castle top or what have you. Alright, so far we already know we're in the seed because we haven't gotten an encounter yet. And any type of bonking inside of a dungeon or anything like that doesn't matter. Only in the overworld do extra numbers get consumed. And we're right exactly where we're supposed to be on step count. It's possible that if you wasted a couple frames or lost a couple, you're going to get that encounter a little bit earlier, maybe 2 steps, maybe 3 steps, but that's not a big deal. That's just because you lost a couple frames somewhere. But you will get this encounter, and we're going to run every time. So I already know my discard counter is where it's supposed to be because I ran. This part right here is personal preference. You don't need to, get rid of all the equipment now or change your party formation. But I've been doing it ever since I started routing this game, so it's a habit for me now. Oops, spells. See right there, I accidentally menued the wrong thing and got out of it. So I consumed random numbers by screwing that up. So now my count's going to be off. That's one of the things that'll start making your encounters off. Little errors like that. You have a 16 frame window that you can have an error in, which is 1/4 of a second, which is pretty much, if you have an error, you're gonna mess up your step count. So that's one of the reasons why you might encounter a battle earlier or later. And when I use a wing, I'm always holding the direction I need to go to make sure that no counter is wasted. No, it's not drawing extra RNG numbers. That's a very important thing to do, and if you don't do it, you're going to lose a lot of numbers fast. I'm only going to go a little bit farther because I already have it. I know for a fact I have the right discard. But just to make sure, we're going to go a little bit farther. And you should always get this battle. Run first time. I'll know for sure if I got the right battle, or the right discard, is the battle right outside of Romilly. If I fail to run from that, then I know the discard is wrong. But it's not. It's not, because I've done this a zillion times now and it's never failed to set up correctly. And battle, there we go. You could also skip these battles with healing, but the problem with healing is everybody's level 1, so you're going to have to buy either A, a lot of herbs, waste of time, waste of money, or B, get a pilgrim, but that's worthless now because you don't have to worry about survival. So it's easier just to find a discard counter and set up your route to every battle you encounter. That discard counter will allow you to run. Because I'm on 0-4 for discard counter. I can't run from every battle. In fact, any battle around Bharata and Dhamma, I'm gonna fail to run. And it's an instant death. That's why in the tutorial I made, you notice how I have no encounters whatsoever on my way to Bharata and Dhamma. That's because it was set up in a way to make sure that I don't get encounters, because if I did, I'm dead. Okay, so we're going to try to run. We got it. Guaranteed at number 4. I'm immediately press out as soon as I get in. I'm walking across the top of the castle. If you press left and then walk up, you're going to consume extra numbers. And because we have no risk of enemies, that's why I waste steps to make it dark right there instead of over the castle, because it's not necessary. And on top of that, I'm getting extra. I'm getting the extra discards that I need to set up so I don't soft lock in the desert. These steps are very precise. If you mess up at any one part, you're gonna probably mess up the entire route. And like I said, we already got it, so I'm gonna show you the one thing to why you can't mess up the route. See, like, if I wouldn't have got that encounter, I would have wasted steps until I got that encounter. All through the game, there are places where you can soft lock. So in this part of the desert, specifically, you get an encounter. It's not going to do it. Okay, whatever. Point is, there it is. There it is. We already know we're right on target. Another way at the very beginning of the game to test if you are on the right seat or not. When leaving a Leah hand, don't do that little pause right before the bridge. Just keep walking. And if you do, game soft locked. There you go. I know for a fact that my seed is the 5FEA because it's soft locked. Soft locks are all over the game, so you've got to be very careful if you're planning on trying to do a new route or something like that. But there it was. So if you have any questions, go ahead and hit me back, but that's basically from the very, very start of when you put the cartridge in to actually doing the run. Every step you need to take in order, and if you do all that exactly, you should be able to do the beginning of the run every time, no problem.